everybody to Stick It To 'Em TV. I am your host with the most. I am Mike Mahern. Thank you for tuning in. Unfortunately, like I said earlier in the preview, we were not able to have our guests at this time due to certain circumstances. So unfortunately, we will not be doing the interview with the four gentlemen that I said that we would earlier this week. However, I'm still a man of my word. I'm still going to have a show regardless of the facts. So start sending me your questions. Stick It To 'Em TV is brought to you by Gearhead Graphics and MEM Photography. If you'd like your business announced on Stick It To 'Em TV, just let me know. Speaking of which, there are a few things that I wanted to discuss. First thing is as you can tell, I'm standing up. I got some new toys lately that are going to help me. Perfect attendance. Thank you, Harley. Some new toys that are going to kind of help me and Stick It To 'Em TV progress as we move along in the 2018 season. We got a tripod that I can start doing shows on, standing up instead of sitting down, and also recording live. I also got this nifty little camcorder. Not much. It was like an $18 camcorder. I'll be able to do, I wouldn't say live taping or live broadcast, but I can do live video recording. We also have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that YouTube channel. It's Stick It To 'Em TV at YouTube. We also have a website, stickittoemtv.webs.com, along with our Facebook page. Alright, so to answer a question, Tammy Mahern, which is my mother, and by the way, I made my own nifty little Stick It To 'Em TV t-shirt. How long have you been doing demo derbies? Well, me personally, my first demolition derby was in 2006. I bought a car courtesy of my uncle's help. I only paid like $60 for this car. And it's a funny story. I went up to my uncle and I told him, I was like, you know what? I want to do a demolition derby. It'll be my first derby. This is back when Auto Race Promotion still did Boone County Fair. Like I said, it was back in 2006. So I told him, I was like, I want to do a demolition derby. Can you help me find a car? And the one question he asked, he goes, what kind of car do you want? Do you want a big size or a compact? I was like, well, you know, it's my first derby, and I want to do a small car. So I literally gave my uncle $60. All right, that's all I had at the time. Luckily enough, sure thing, he knew a lot of people. He found me a car for $60. And the funny part is he used that $60. And we ended up going racing that night. My uncle decided that he had a car given to him and he was going to go down to Sycamore, Illinois to do the compact race, which, by the way, was an amazing time down there. If you haven't been down to Sycamore Speedway, please do so, along with Rockford Speedway and all your other favorite short tracks. But anywho, 2006, I got the car. We literally got it from down the street. We drove it home or to my uncle's house. And I kid you not, the back windows were already busted out, so it didn't really matter. And I mean, this was in Belvedere, Illinois. So I turned onto his street, and the car stalls on the railroad tracks. Okay? So I put it in park, and unbeknownst to me, my uncle was going to try to push me, and he tells me, get it out of park, you moron. So I get it out of park, we get it back to his house, we strip it. Anywho, long story short, my first demolition derby was in 2006, along with my brother and my dad, who rode together. It was my dad driving, Dave Mahern. He drove while my brother rode in his first derby. So I don't have the luxury of ever riding in a demolition derby. I always drove. So, that being said, that derby didn't really, pan out for me as well. So, like I said, Harley Conklin, perfect attendance. Thank you so much, buddy. I want to thank David Russell Jr. for watching. Sammy Hatcher was watching. Ralph was watching. My mother's watching. And whoever else is watching, thank you. So, please feel free to bring in more questions. Again, my bad. The bone stock build-off that is set for May 12th, gates open up at 9 o'clock. So there will be parking the night before if you want to travel down to Fenton, Illinois. It's just on the outskirts of Morrison, Illinois. For me, it's about an hour and 25 minutes. I'm going to be there. Thank you, baby. My wife's watching as well. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be bringing a car. It's actually a car that I tried derbying in 2017 at Derby Icons Fall Brawl, one of the last derbies of the year. It just also coincidence that it happened to have fallen on the same night as one of the Bike Barn derbies. So big shout out to Tori Schrudy with Derby Icons, Harlan Conklin, who puts on the Pete Monster demolition derbies at the Bike Barn. Again, I cannot express how excited I am to be able to derby at the Bike Barn. It's Sauk Valley, Wendell Tinton. Thank you, Scott Hall. No, he's not the wrestler either. You know, I'm pretty sure you kind of get that people to ask you that quite a lot. Are you the wrestler, Scott Hall? You know, I mean, if you haven't ever watched wrestling, he's probably not. Who knows? But thank you anyway, Sauk Valley. If I'm pronouncing it bad, I do apologize. Sauk Valley, Wendell Tinton. Thank you. We'll mention you on tomorrow's episode. Speaking of which, tomorrow's episode, I'm bringing the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Harley Conklin, back for a Q&A for episode 4. That is correct. This is our 3rd episode, episode 4. We have Harley Conklin from the Pete Monster Demolition Derby world. He's going to be answering and having some Q&A tomorrow as well. Same time, 7 o'clock. So please feel free, bring more questions. That is what I'm here for. Unfortunately, I was going to do a garage interview like I was suggested with 4 great, in my opinion, 4 of the greatest derby car drivers that I've ever seen, at least where I'm from. Mike Bridgman, he's a really good demolition derby driver. His son is as crazy as he is. Josh Bridgman, then a couple of friends, Austin Holmes and Zach Rucker. We will reschedule that interview. That will be in the near future. I can't wait to do that. If you would like to have an interview, and if I can't make it to your location, and if you have a camera, we can still do a live interview on Stick It To 'Em TV. It won't be in person, but we can still do an interview. I actually have questions that are made up. Oh crap! Go figure. I drop my little paper. So I have basically 20 question list that I'll ask any bone stock. Hashtag bone stock. There we go. 20 questions is all I have for me to interview demolition derby drivers. I'm also going to get some made up for race car drivers as well. They can kind of coexist. But back to the bone stock build-off. Alright, I was under the assumption that the bone stock build-off, now when you say bone stock build-off, typically you think big cars. That is not the case, because seeing the fact that I was not at last year's bone stock build-off, I didn't know what they ran. So, bone stock build-off means it is a gut-and-go compact demolition derby. The more cars you build, the more chances you have of making that 20-man feature event that is at the end of the night. Okay? You have gates open up at 9 o'clock. You have the driver's meeting, which is a first, by the way. Normally, the derbies that I've been to, they inspect you first, then they do their driver's meeting. Harley Conklin, you are a man in reality of itself, doing the driver's meeting first, and then getting yourself set up with the inspection. The sooner you're there, the better chances of you are in line getting, inspected, So be there, like I said, you can either be there the night before. They are going to have parking, and I believe Harley said that they do have camping arrangements available as well. But thank you, Tyler, for watching. Tyler Hatcher, another great demolition derby driver, won consecutive times down at the Bike Barn. Man in himself, a really good demolition derby driver. He also took place in the Raymer Race Promotions Winter New Year's Eve Clash down in Mendota, Illinois. Kudos to you. Shout out to Tyler Hatcher. Again, Stick It To 'Em TV is basically for anybody that has a sport that they like doing that doesn't get noticed, you know? Like on TV, for example, on the news, you see Rockford Speedway. And I'm not downgrading Rockford Speedway by any means necessary. Rockford Speedway is a great track. I raced there. I'm just more leaning towards, if I can't do it at the Rockford Speedway, more towards demolition derbies, okay? Stick It To 'em TV is for any small-time sport. Heck, you can even be building a race car in your garage and I will come interview. I may not get to interview at the track due to certain issues, but I can come to your shop. I can come to your house. Stick It To 'em TV, as long as it is not within a crazy means of transportation, I can come and interview you and get you on Stick It To 'em TV, get you noticed a little bit, let people out there in the world that have joined or liked my page, that likes this sport, that can't really come to the events. That is another reason why I do Stick It To 'em TV. We will be down at Bike Barn May 12th. We will try to record live depending on the signal strength and if I can get signal down there. If not, I will figure out some way of adding somebody on the account for Stick It To 'em TV that can do the live broadcast. Either way, from 9 o'clock till it's all said and done, Stick It To 'em TV will be taking part of Bike Barn. And we will be recording live at Bike Barn. Yes, great question. Have I been hurt in a demolition derby? This goes back to, 2006. 2006 was like I said, my first demolition derby. If you're just tuning in, I had a question of when did I start doing demolition derbies. What car have you seen in a derby that you wouldn't think? Before I answer Tammy's question, I'm going to answer my wife's question. Yep, laundry is done. You heard that. So, yeah, I'm doing it in my basement. So, but a car that was in a demolition derby that I never would have thought would be in a demolition derby was up in Wisconsin. I actually seen on pictures, they took a Beetle, a Volkswagen Beetle, into a compact car class and derbied that. And I thought that was crazy as heck. But hey, if it runs, drives, and the windows can be busted out, you can pretty much probably, and with it's within the means of the rules, you can probably pretty much just drive about anything in a demolition derby. Speaking of which, hence point, you can derby a lawnmower. Okay, I've never seen a lawnmower demolition derby. Again, cannot wait. Very excited on what I'm about to see down in Fenton on May 12th. Again, but so that would be the one derby car that I wouldn't think would be in a derby. And to answer Tammy's question again, yes, I was hurt. I actually broke my wrist in my first ever demolition derby about the car that I was telling you that I got for $60. There's so many conclusions on what people think happened. I honestly don't know what happened. I think this is my story, all right? When your adrenaline starts pumping, you lose all sorts of things. Like you lose sense of what's actually going on because you're just focused on what is in front of you right now. You don't care about what's around you. I don't know what exactly happened. People said that I grabbed the steering wheel too tight, and when I got hit, my wrist, I didn't let go. I thought I put my hand through the steering wheel, which was a rookie move, and tried starting the car and got hit, and the steering wheel turned and snapped my wrist. Who knows, okay? It's nor here nor there, alright? I did break my wrist. Lesson learned. That's why later down the line, I started duct taping my steering wheels. So, reason for that is so I didn't have the temptation of trying to put my hand inside the steering wheel. Well, obviously, Demolition Derby has evolved to where if you go from a small car to a big car and you know exactly what you're doing, chances are, if you swapped out motors, you do not use the key ignition. You have a toggle switch. Alright? So, that is what I have in my gray Marquis. It is a toggle switch, and it's actually sitting on the side. Would it be wise to tape your steering wheel? Really good question. It really depends on if you feel like you're going to have the urge to stick your hand through it. If you don't think you're going to stick your hand through it, then no. But if you are doing it for the first time, I probably would suggest it. Just because, you know, if you use your hands for work and you like doing this crazy sport that we call demolition derby, which is an accident on purpose, a car accident on purpose, but you get pleasure on releasing a lot of anger by hitting the person next to you and not actually going to jail for it, I always say, then yes, I would strongly suggest using tape for your steering wheel. However, the team that I'm with, my brother's team, said, no tape this year. So I am not using tape on my steering wheel down at the bike barn. I'm going to be smart about it. However, you are supposed to use gloves. That is one of the stipulations that most derby promotions have you do. Is obviously you got to have a helmet and gloves for the most part. Please feel free to share this. Let people know. Let your friends know that I am live. I'm taking on any questions. Back to the website. Okay. You know, I really want to expand Stick It To 'Em TV. I'm teaming up with Harley Conklin, who is a great guy. Like I said, we have ideas on where we would like to take this to the next level as far as getting demolition derby drivers their voices heard. Harley, I got to get with you. Speaking of which, that way you can do live broadcasts and episodes. Say if I can't make it down to your area, all you have to do is go to the page and do a live episode if you're down there and you want to interview some of your guys down there, if I cannot make it. But back to the website, I'm going to start doing advertising, okay? Advertising will be done on our website to help promote your business, your team. If you have a logo or you just want us to create you a logo for that matter, we'd be more than happy to. Here's the prices as far as advertisements. What class am I running at the Bike Barn on May 12th? That is a good question. I would say it would be the wire class, because I do have a full-size 98-gram marquee that's coming down. Like I said, when I took it to Tori's show, it was meant for light weld or light bone stock, is what they used to call them. So, and the crazy thing about that is my starter broke. So, and I didn't have any other starters down there, so I didn't get the derby whatsoever. So the car has been sitting pretty much since October 7th, I believe, of last year. We do have to take the motor out, tweak it a little. I wouldn't say tweak it, fix a little, few things here and there, and then go from there. But my car, along with 2 other cars from my brother's team, Why So Serious Motorsports, we're going to be down there having fun, making junk as we try to do as well. How many times have I seen a helmet fell off, come off? Well, that is a very good question. I've only seen a handful of times, especially, for example, my cousin's helmet. She took a hard hit last year at Peck, and her helmet came off. Which reminds me about helmets. You know, if they do make youth helmets, child helmets, all right? Because what's crazy is my brother took my daughter's helmet that my brother bought for my daughter and used it at Fall Brawl 2 years ago, and it fit. I mean, so if your helmet is really small, good old boys class, yes, that would be the class that I was in, or would be in, hopefully. But anyways, back to the helmets. If you don't think you can fit in a full-size adult helmet, a child's helmet's the next best thing. ATV helmet, dirt bike helmet, whatever. And you really can get these at like Farm and Fleet or on eBay. Walmart starting to sell them now. David Russell says, I turn left and go fast. Yes, you do. I have seen you race. You are an excellent American short track driver. No, we are going to cut the welds on the doors if we can't run those. So the welds on whatever doors, we'll cut them. All right. I just want to come down there and have fun. So no worries there. I'll be within the rules. So no worries there. Anywho, like I said, keep them questions coming. God knows I like having questions to answer. As far as they're gonna. Every bike barn derby, nobody said you had to hack it or hawk it. Okay. As far as whatever has to be done to my car, I'll do whatever I have to do to derby that day. I'm not going to come down and spend $45 plus whatever it costs for my family to get in to not be able to watch me derby. So whatever needs to be done, I'll do whatever has to be done to my car. It's not a big deal. So just to be able to say I got to participate at one of Harley's shows, I'll do whatever I have to do. So, cool. David Russell Jr. said that he is building a new race car for the Rockford Speedway. I've seen pictures, David. It's coming along great, bud. I actually like how the car looks. I'm very thrilled and can't wait to see that car in action. Good luck this year for the most part for you, bud. Any more questions? I'm an open book if need be, as far as sports. I have a friend, speaking of sports, I have a friend, his name is Dan Walker. And Danny is one of the coolest guys I've ever met. He knows a lot about hockey, baseball, wrestling, racing, whatever, and football, for that matter. He likes the New Orleans Saints. I think he's kind of a little butthurt because his New Orleans Saints lost to the Minnesota Vikings, which, I'm sorry. You will have 2 cars this year. That is awesome. Now, as far as when you say you will have 2 cars this year, are you going to have one as a backup for the Speedway, or are you going to use one as far as like doing the for the Midwest Dash series? No, the Mid-Am? No, yeah, Midwest Dash series. I believe that's what it's called. So, again, as far as demolition derbies and racing is concerned, if you would like to have us come and interview you or interview you while we are live on air, please, by all means, get a hold of me and let me know. I will be more than happy to do that for you guys, by all means. So, crap. So, many drivers consider multiple entries. That is true. Like you were telling me the other day, there was a gentleman that had a small car, and they had the episode with Zach. They had to reschedule. I asked Zach if he wanted to still do his interview. Unfortunately, he said that he was going to wait until Josh Bridgman did theirs. So I am going to try to reschedule that with them as soon as possible. Josh had some things come up that were kind of important, so I just said that's fine. I'll still do the show without him. But as far as my car goes, I would say that it's underbuilt. There could be stuff done to that I think would be within the rules. I looped the trans line. I took the trans cooler box out in the trans cooler, looped the trans lines. Like I said, we got to take the motor and trans out, tighten the torque or flywheel bolts, tighten the torque converter bolts, redo the trans pan, and then pretty much cut the welds, the welds on the doors. And I can go get the number 9 wire if need be and wire those shut. But, my car is going to be there regardless. So, that is my car. But we will both be out there. We'll both be out there racing. That is awesome. I'm so glad that they'll both be out there. Again, please, Derby Life, awesome. Again, how much money do you... Good question, because honestly, my motor for my Derby car is sitting in my trailer race truck. And I only have like $800 wrapped up into that, because I bought it as is. It's a 350 Vortec. But as far as the motor that I have in my car, it's technically my brother's. Actually, not technically, it is my brother's. My brother is letting me use his Derby motor. He's actually got two. That one he has $500 wrapped up in. That's not including the spark plugs and anything else that he may have into that. So, but as far as the motor goes in my car, or my Derby motor, I just have like what I paid for the truck. So $800 is what I paid for the truck. The motor came with it. I'm getting a new truck. Decided, well, might as well keep this truck. It's bought and paid for. I think it'd be a pretty good trailer race truck. So right now, my Derby motor is sitting inside my trailer race truck. My wife, who's gonna start derbying, she's gonna have a 350 Chevy 350 demolition. Her first Derby motor. She's getting that for a heck of a deal from a friend of ours as well. So I'm kind of excited to see my wife derby this year. Can't wait for her to get in a car. She actually got in my car last night. I was over at the Derby shop at Sean's house, and we were getting stuff done to the Derby car. And she asked me, she goes, "Can I sit in your Derby car?" I go, "Yeah, sure." She gets in it, and reality synced in that, like, she really wants the Derby. So I'm super stoked. She's gonna derby at the Boone County Fair this year. Cannot wait to do that, because if by any means 305, I actually have a stock 305 sitting in my garage. That was one of my race car motors that I had. I actually have that sitting in my garage. I have a total of 2 motors that I own. How do you drive easy from start or balls to the wall? Good question. I used to try to go balls to the wall until I had some advice. Drive around the track, get the feel of it. Obviously, put a show on. So if I have to go balls to the wall and put a show on for the crowd, and to get cheers, I will. But if I have a lot of money wrapped into a car and I want to try to win for any matter, then I would, pick and choose who I would want to hit. And then if it came down to, say, me and 2 other people, I would, go all out. How many family members did derbies and who? All right, so you got me, you got my brother. My wife's going to be doing one. My dad, my uncle, actually all 3 of my uncles, my Aunt Vicky, my cousins. Exactly. I don't sandbag by all means. I try to junk my stuff. That way I don't have to take it, home and have to pull stuff off of it or bend it back down. I want to try to junk it, honestly. But my cousin's derby, a lot of people in my family do demolition derbies. So Rebel Racing, balls to the walls. We don't sandbag. We put on a show. Awesome. Do what? God, you got people upstairs yelling. I'll definitely think about that, Tyler. Definitely, for sure, think about that. I could always use another derby motor. Get a hold of me and let me know, for sure. David Russell Jr., my dad is racing my car, 2 cars. Awesome. So David Russell Sr. will be back out this year. That is awesome. Can't wait to see that. Let's go back here real quick. Nope, no more questions so far. All right, so but as far as this year is concerned, I am definitely going to be down at the bike barn. after the bike burn, if by any chance there's anything left of the car, knock on wood, hopefully there isn't, or if there is, I'm going to save it and take it to Awesome Randy, thank you. Be more than happy to see you down at the bike barn as well. Can't wait again. But back to what I was saying. If there is, I said my mom, we need dirt bottom compacts. Yes, we do. There we go. Dirt bottom. Thank you. You know what? I just now got that. Thanks for the plug, Harley. All right. So, if you are looking to sell a 4-cylinder for rather cheap, or you'll just want to get rid of it, contact me or contact Harley Conklin. I will point you in the right direction. You know, I'm working on a budget, so I can't really buy cars. But if you want to donate them, or you have your name on them and have somebody else drive them, or even you drive them yourself, the more cars for this bone stock build-off, the more chances you have on being in that 20-man feature event at the end of the night. Because like I said, the goal is to have 10 rounds of qualifying heats. And then I believe later on you will have a consolation. Okay? However, I don't know, I don't quite remember if he said he's going to take the top 2. Yeah, I do believe he said top 2, because if you take 2 times 10, that's 20. So, anyways, top 2 of each heat will be impounded until the feature. All the other cars get a chance to, you know, work on their cars, clearly. But, if you are willing to sell your car dirt cheap, we are definitely looking for, the Peep Monster is looking for, compact cars. Definitely would help us out a lot. Like I said, Harley Conklin and I are trying to stick our heads together, try to get this out there, try to get it bigger than what I would like it to be. I'd like to stick it to him TV to get out there pretty big. And I did not forget about my mom. Alright? My mother did derby. She actually took second in her first derby, and it was a powder puff derby. And what's ironic about this is my dad derbied the same car and came inches away from hitting a fire truck. But my mom takes it out and gets second place. She also did have you ever heard of a MTV bag derby? This is one of the things Rockford Speedway was known for. All right, Rockford Speedway inspection ends for the second part of. What time does inspection end for the second part of the show? Drink every time he says my name. Harley, what time does inspection end for the second part of the show? That is a good question. So, curious minds would like to know, good sir. I'd be drunk. I do say Harley quite a lot because Harley reached out to me. You know, he was one of the first people to reach out to me. He wanted to get involved with this as much as I'm trying to get it out there. Like I said, demolition derby drivers, you don't really hear much about unless you. And I'm not knocking the pay-per-view scene. By all means, get 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is when inspection ends. 7 or no, wait. Are you counting how many times I say your name? Or is that the time that the inspection closes? Because I'm kind of confused. But anyways, like I said, you don't really hear a lot about demolition derby drivers. All right, they don't get the recognized as I know I have a speech impediment, whatever. But anyways, so they don't get recognized quite often as race car drivers. So qualifying is all day. Night schedule runs as normal. So whatever that means. So but like I said, that is the main purpose of Stick It To 'Em TV, is for drivers that bust their humps, that work 9 to 5, or even earlier, Monday through Friday, and out of one day, out of the whole month, they have a car to just go and tear some stuff up. That is what I am after, okay? I am after the ones that bust their ass, pardon my language, bust their rear Monday through Friday to provide a living for their families, and also be in that shop when they can to get these cars ready. Those are the moments, those are the times that I am after to get recognized. And with everyone's help, by joining, liking, sharing, the more shares we get, like I said, I'm going to be uploading videos on YouTube. The more likes we get, the more we can get this out there, and the more we can get Demolition Derby recognized as a sport in itself. That is one of the reasons I am doing this. And plus, I like talking, and I like the sport. So, how many cars can one guy run? Harley, you should already know this, because you're the one that told me. You are looking for the guy, either guy, team, or person, whoever, for the most cars. A guy could run, say he doesn't make it in the first heat, and he brought 3 more other cars. Who can build or outbuild bone stock compacts? Exactly. Who can build the best bone stock car, which is a compact? Pretty much gut the window, take the windows out, take the seat, move the gas tank, move the battery. But the most cars, who can build a good bone stock car? I heard Chevy Luminas are good cars. I heard Cavaliers are good cars, wagons. If it is a 4-cylinder compact car and it meets the wheelbase requirements through Harley and them, then that would be a bone stock build-off car, I would say. Good question, Randy. Good old boys rules. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I would assume no welded doors, because that was asked earlier about my car. Because I have, my car was the doors were welded shut for fall brawl. But I am going to have to take the strip only, add nothing. Okay. Is that for the good old boys or the bone stock? I'm going to light up a cigarette. I hope y'all don't mind. So, what time is it? 7:38. I have about less than a half an hour left of my show. Strip only, add nothing, he says. I'm still confused whether or not he is referring to the bone stock build-off compacts or the good old boys. Because any make, any model, mid-size stands. So basically, you could have a Grand Marquis, bone stock. Okay, the strip only, add nothing was for the bone stock. Any make, any model, mid-size stands, I would assume is for the good old boys. I think. No, that mid-size is small car. Yeah, that's bone stock. Never mind. Haha. My bad. Sorry. So, like I said, sedans. Sedans. Good Lord. Keep the questions rolling. Please feel free. If you have questions for Harley, I can ask him. I know he's watching. That man, like I said, I am so happy that I met that man. I can't wait to actually meet him in person and see how we can get any motor in any car like last year. I would hope so, because I don't have any Ford motors for my Grand Marquis. Sorry. I got a 350 Chevy and a 98 Grand Marquis, so I mean, I really hope that gets passed, because it's the same motor that was in my brother's Buick that he ran last year. So I'm not ashamed to say what I'm bringing. I'm bringing a 98 Grand Marquis, and the story behind that, I will say whatever you type. Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true, depending on what it is. I don't want to, criminalize anybody or get anybody into trouble that's watching this show. Because one of the head honchos for that derby is watching. So if you think you can get away with anything, think again. Just joking around. So anyways, what am I gonna type next? Hey, he will say whatever you type. I'm just gonna ignore it because I fell for that, Harley. I said, what am I going to type next? So, thank you for watching, Nate Tompkins. Appreciate that. But anyways, the story behind the car that I'm bringing is it actually used to be my grandmother's daily driver. She had this car since, I want to say, it's a 94, 92? Yeah, so it's a 92 Grand Marquis. And she got it in 94. She had it. She had it shipped from Florida. So, and she's been driving it ever since. I bought it last year. Believe it or not, I bought it for $150 from my grandmother. She had called the junkyard that was close to them, and exactly. Thank you too for Grandma's car. I used to drive that car. When I got my license, that was one of the first cars. My mother cannot play at the barn, unfortunately, because of her health. However, she will be there to watch me and my brother. Only driven. No, she actually used that to drive to school. She worked at my high school that I went to. So she said yes, though, so I'm good. Nice. So anyways, so she used to work at the high school that I worked at. That was obviously, and I lived with her there for a while, and she got to the point where she didn't want to drive anymore. So I had my license. That was literally the first car that I ever drove back and forth when I had my job at a family restaurant. That was my means of transportation. So I'm super stoked that I have that car. I heard a ding. I wonder what what the ding's for. Give me 1 second. Gotta minimize this. Who dinged me? Whatever. Alright. Randy, you better not get grounded again. Laugh out loud. Nice. Alright, so like I said, feel free. We're just having a ball. Feel free, ask your questions. Comment on each other's questions. It doesn't really matter. I'm sharing a bunch of stuff. Again, tomorrow, 7 o'clock, same time. Harley Conklin will be on as my guest again. He will be answering any questions you may have about the sport, about the Demolition Derby. Anything that you want to pick his mind about, I'm pretty sure Harley is open to. I'm open to answer questions too. I already asked. Those are great cars. I hope so, because it is, if you're talking about the Grand Marquis, it is the first, the first car of its kind that I've ever drove, as far as for a Demolition Derby car. 2016, I had a Chevy Caprice wagon. That didn't really go very well. My drive shaft kept, yep, me and you are live tomorrow. Anything, any question, anything. That didn't really go quite as well back in 2016 at Fall Brawl. I literally traded my race car for this car. I wanted to get out of racing, and I got into Demolition Derbies. But, drive shaft really kind of took a crap, kept falling out, thought we had it fixed, went back into the, SS class, which is the super stock class, with a bone stock car. Bumper came off in the bone stock derby. And I literally took the car after we got the drive shaft fixed, took it back into the SS class with my cousin Josh. He finished third, I believe, third in that event. And I didn't really do worth a damn in that derby. But I went back out into that class crazy as hell because I had no front bumper. My bumper literally was off. So they gave me a stick and they were like, well, you're about as crazy as anybody, you know. I wouldn't be out here without a front bumper for protection. I was like, you know what, screw it. I came to destroy a car, tried to destroy it, and literally went home with almost a full-size car that didn't get nothing. On a serious note, there's not another place like the Bike Barn in the state of Illinois. Definitely one of my favorite places to run. I agree. You know, I hear nothing but good things. Harley said that, you know, he had telephone poles out there. And as a demolition derby, I've seen as a demolition derby driver and promoter, you evolve. You know, he clearly evolved from his track being surrounded by tires and telephone poles to actually having brick, you know, concrete walls. So there's no soft hits over the pole anymore. If you hit the wall, you're gonna feel it. And I'm like I said, I'm excited. You have a good night. All right, you all have a good night. I'm heading to the gym. You head to the gym. Get strong. Sounds like you got a relationship going on, Brad. So, again, I can't wait for May 12th to get here. Like I said, got a few more things left in my car that we got to do. And then pull my brother's car into the shop, get his done. He's got to get a hood, a bumper, put his motor and trans together, and then paint his car. But mine's, for the most part, done. But May 12th, 9 o'clock a.m., gates open, $15 to get in, $30 to drive, $30 to be a passenger. Here's the cool thing. Harley was saying, you have a wristband on, you could ride passenger in any vehicle, for example. You can ride in a minivan, you can ride in a full-size. I got mad respect for Harley too. Like I said, I have not seen his derby up close, but from what I have seen on YouTube, he is a fair guy. I literally asked him the question because I seen last year. Come watch Rebel Racing at Spring X the 27th and 28th. I would love to. That was actually one of the live events that I was going to do, but unfortunately, due to job restrictions, me starting this new job here soon, I'm not going to be able to make that show, but I'm definitely going to keep my eyes and ears on it. Good luck down there, Rebel Racing at Spring Explosion. Hope you guys do really good. I know that that's a team show, so hopefully you guys make junk down there, hit hard. Anyways, I asked him, because I seen a truck inside in the full-size class. I asked him, I go, slurp, I go for you. Okay, that's fine. If you want to go and record live, like I said, I will put you on here as one of the administrators and you can go live. That would be so cool. That'd be awesome. I want to try to get shirts made, honestly. Like we were talking about, shirts that represent Stick It To 'Em TV. That'd be so cool to have. But back to the Derby and Harley being fair. I asked him, I noticed that you had a truck in the wire class, and it was only one truck. Well, it just so happens that he built his truck to those rules. He was the only one there. And if you come with a car, Harley will find a place to put you. If you pass his inspection, I truly believe Harley will, if you bring a car and you want to derby it, Harley will find a place for you. Whether it be weld, compact, full-size, mid-size, whatever it may be, Harley will find a place for you. Okay? So, again, events coming up. Spring Explosion, April 27th and 28th down in Champaign-Urbana. That is a team show that is put on by Derby Icons. Again, a big shout out to Tori Schrudy. Hopefully this gets back to you, bud. Always put on a good show. I seen last year that it kind of got really wet. Really, really wet down there. So hopefully this year it'll be different. Not so much rain down there. And then you have, after Spring Explosion, May 12th, the Peat Monster Bone Stock Build-Off 2018. Like I said, we'll definitely be live down there for sure. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for tuning in. Again, like I said, Bone Stock Build-Off. Then in June, I believe, it's Father's Day weekend. Again, down in Champaign-Urbana. Something I'd like to go to. I'd actually like to take part of eventually. Is build a Bone Stock full-size car. Metal Mayhem 2018 down in Champaign-Urbana. Then you have various county fairs. Definitely going to be at Boone County Fair. Going to try to do Peck. You got another. I don't quite remember Harley's list of events on how they're organized. I believe the end of June he has another derby at the Bike Barn. Then Labor Day weekend he's got a derby at the Bike Barn, and then to end it all up, last Saturday of September is the Bike Barn Extravaganza. Bring your car, destroy it, have fun, share some memories, gain some memories, break some bones if need be. No, pray to God you don't break any bones. But if you'd like, again, to be interviewed, whether it be racing, demolition derbies, whatever, like I said, if I can't come to your track due to media restrictions, I'll be more than happy to come to your shop and get your voice heard. Ask you questions. How'd you get started? Why is this your number? What got you started? Or, whatever it may be. Or what's your favorite track? What's your favorite sport? What do you think you like about this sport? My wife did want me to ask a question. For all you demolition derby drivers out there, do I have any commercials? No, I'm still looking into that. I still want to try to do something like that. Obviously, as time progresses, we can do commercials. I want to try to go live on YouTube, too. Interview Scott Hall, please. Awesome. Just send me a message, and we'll get something hooked up. Either we can do it live here, or I can come have someone come to you as far as to interview you. We'll get that set up for you. Show us your toys. Show us your cars. Show us your tools that you build cars with. All of that sorts of thing. But my wife wanted me to ask a question to all you demolition derby drivers. What part, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of these, read them off. What part of the brain do you think you personally use when you're in a derby, if at all? So, now, you want to do it now? Bam! Good thing I'm always ready. Hey. Or I will be at Harley's tomorrow at 7. Alright, we can do it then. We can do it at 7 tomorrow. Sounds like a plan. So, tomorrow's guest besides Harley Conklin is Scott Hall. We're going to interview him tomorrow. I'm so excited about this. Like I said, the more we get this out there, the more people share with their friends, the more we can get everybody recognized, and this sport recognized as well as a sport that needs to take its place rightfully. You have racing, you have hockey, you have all these other sports, but like I said, adrenaline. Randy answered the question that I had to ask. What part of the brain, if any, do you think you use in the demolition derby? Stand still. I can't stand still. then I'd be like, oh. Adrenaline takes over, and I have no idea. Typically, that is what any driver's response would be as far as to answer that question. So, good answer. Thank you, Randy. My wife wants me to stand still. So, alright, 5 more minutes until the show is done. Like I said, I'm looking to, the more I do research on how I can do live events, live shows, the more we can do commercials and all that sorts of stuff. Because like I said, right now, I'm literally talking to you guys through Facebook Live on my phone. Okay? I know there's cameras out there that can go live, but it costs a lot of money. And when you're working on a budget and you want to do this because you love getting people's people out there, I need to get a desk. I actually have one on the way. I have a desk on the way. So, we'll have that here shortly. Probably not tomorrow, but next week's episode we'll have the desk available. And then I need to get a banner. As you can tell, my wall's bare, you know. So I'm in my basement. As you can tell, this is my little studio. But the more we get donations, you know, I'm not asking for a lot, but if you like Stick It To 'Em TV, if you can donate and we get awesome, that'd be awesome. I'll message you after this is done. The more, if you can donate, the more we get in donations, the more we can make Stick It To 'Em TV noticeable. Like I said, I took an old work shirt, took a freaking permanent mark and wrote Stick It To 'Em TV, you know, because it had my name on the other side. We are a work in progress. These are the classic reels, for sure. These are the memories that once this kind of gets big, that you'll want to have in your archives of, hey, you know, I was on one of the very first episodes. Like, you know, everybody that I'm hoping to be on this show can say, yeah, I was on Stick It To 'Em TV. I told my brother to wear a 3XL. Very, very mature, you know. I'd be looking like I'd be swimming in the shirt. So anyways, but, you know, like I said, the more donations we have, the more we can get gear, merchandise, we can get our name recognized out there. Here's what I'd like to happen, okay? Up until my derby, and I know Harley's watching this, I would like to, after the derby's said and done, go on the track and interview the winner, okay, of every derby, even the Power Wheels derby. That'd be awesome to do. I seen that they do that on the pay-per-views, and like I said, to do this is for the Demolition Derby drivers for one, and for the fans that can't always get out and go to the Demolition Derbies, but still enjoy watching them, but can't afford to pay for that pay-per-view. And the thing about the pay-per-view is you don't always get to interact with what's going on. On Facebook Live, you do. So as long as we have Facebook Live, as long as I have ways of being able to do this show, I will always bring classic moments, funny moments, serious moments, happy moments, sad moments, boo-hoo. Any moment you want, I'm open to, you know. Everybody has in their own way of how they got started in this sports, because I did mention racing. You know, big shout out to all the small time derby shops. If you have a 2-car garage, and on one side you have your old lady's car, and on the other side you have a beat up full-size car that's stripped, you know, kudos to you. I have a 1-car garage, and I got my trailer race truck in it. My derby car's at my brother's house, in his derby shop, you know. Kudos to everybody that wants to get in it, you know. Like we were talking about in the first episode. It doesn't really take much but to just come and watch. All it takes is to watch one demolition derby, and it feels almost as like you're in the demolition derby with them, you know? Like, if a person that you're rooting for, why does it have wife? Okay, wife, not old lady, wife. Female companion. But anyways, back to what I was saying. On a serious note, all it takes is to come and watch, because like I said, it almost just feels like as you're in the car with them. Like the driver you're rooting for, if the person cheap shot them, it's like you literally want to get out on that track and beat their car. You know, like you want to smash them in the head for hitting them. You know, well, that's bogus. You know, a call that's made that it's not necessarily the fairest, or shouldn't have been made, or calls that should be made. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't mean to say old lady. Wife, girlfriend, female companion, whatever. So, I know I'm going over my time, which is fine. I own the show. I don't care. So, but like I said, any donations helps. The more it helps, the more we can get technology boosted for us. The more we can advance, the more we can get to certain events, advertising on the website, advertising on our Facebook page, getting logos, getting shirts, getting hats, getting stuff that we can kind of help give away. Goddess. Okay, that works too. A goddess, I guess. So, but, you know, like I said, I really think that the more we can share this show, Stick It To 'Em TV, the more we can get everybody's name heard, get the sport recognized, get the recognition that it rightfully deserves. Every once in a while, do you see a documentary on demolition derbies? You don't see it as much as racing. A lot of people turn their head away when it comes to demolition derbies. They say it's a redneck sport. Well, you want to know something? In just about every state, there is a demolition derby. If not, you need to find an open patch of field, put grandstands, make a wall, and have a demolition derby. I've seen people do it in rodeo rings, inside stadiums, inside freaking, you know, high school stadiums. You know, all it takes, folks, is to get the word spread. That's all it takes. So, I'm going to end this. I appreciate everybody that did watch. So, if you do want to get recognized, or you just want to have your voice heard and talk about, you know, random things as far as where you want to see the demolition derby world go, where you think you would like to see Stick It To 'Em TV go, please feel free to contact me or Harley. A portable TV booth. That actually is not a bad idea. So, like I said, keep the questions rolling in. Tomorrow's episode for sure, as we got Harley Conklin and Scott Hall. I'm going to be interviewing them. Harley's going to be doing some Q&A as well with us. And just remember, if you can't give it to them, stick it to them. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. Have a great night.